welcome to Chapter 5, Season 2. This means it's Major number 2. I'm Frankie Ward. I'm so excited to be back with you as your host for Europe, and I'm also delighted to be joined by Mr. 112K and Mini Miner. And this time last Major, I had no voice, boys, but it's back. It's back with a vengeance, and I hope you're not sad about that, Levin.
I kind of miss those times, if I'm being honest with you. But, you know, that's a story for another day. I mean, it is good to have you back, Frank, and it's good to have another Major back. Of course, we edge closer and closer to globals now, and so more spots are opening up, but more pressure for all these players to perform.
I'm really excited to see you as well, Mini Miner. You've matched your t-shirt to your face.
Thanks for that. Yeah, I'm ready for this season. You know, I'm excited for the new season of Fortnite. You know, we've got a lot of global spots up for grabs this season as well, and of course, next season is the last chance. So this is a season that you really want to get everything going because you know, you don't want to leave it to that last Major to qualify. So for a lot of teams, that's where their eyes and their heads are going to be set for now.
Yeah, that's one of the big changes for Chapter 5. There is no last chance Major. If they don't do it in number 2, they've got to do it in number 3. Otherwise, they're going to miss out on that trip to Dallas. And no one wants to miss out on a trip to Texas. Certainly not me, but I'm probably going to have a tiny child at that point. Less about me, though, in my situation, and more about the situations between our duos, because we have seen a few duos break up, sadly. But happily, we've got some key duos who are still together, although one of these duos did not make grand finals in Major 1, Levin.
Yeah, and so it's pretty interesting, right? We're talking about Trulex and Cheat Show. It went from not qualifying last Major for the grand finals to looking like probably the strongest team coming into this Major, Mini Miner. I mean, these guys have been on a whole different level, it feels like. You know, they're landing sort of in that mid-map area, landing at restored reels. And if you know anything about Trulex, he loves a mid-map POI. Historically, it's always been those kind of POIs where he's had the most success. And I mean, honestly, Mini Miner, these guys have just looked so strong, so consistent in every single competition.
Yeah, they have. I mean, Trulex just seems to like reels. He went to Rocky reels all the way back in Chapter 3. I think it's just reels. He likes them, you know. He likes that sort of POI, and it's no different this season. Last season, actually, they were going a little bit differently. They were going towards that hazy hillside area for a little bit. Didn't quite work out, so now they're back to what they know. And although it was ruined reels last season, it's actually restored now, so they get a little bit of extra materials. Nothing too crazy's changed there. But what I do remember is last year in Major number 1 in Chapter 4, they actually didn't make grand finals either. And then the next placements were 10th and 3rd in the next 3 majors, of course, then coming 3rd in the global championship. So it seems like they've done this path before. They've went this way before. So maybe not qualifying Major 1 might be in their favor. Who knows?
I feel like they're a bit like Cami and Seti, but they haven't lifted a global championship yet. They're a duo that endures and sticks together, and I love to see it. And I love to see another duo get together for Chapter 5, and that was Tayson and Venno, even though, to be honest, Mini Miner, they didn't have the best start to 2024.
Yeah, I think a lot of people expected some big things from this year, and rightly so, right? You've got arguably the best player in Fortnite in Tayson, and of course, Venno, one of the best, if not the best at fighting in the game at the moment. A lot of people expected Fireworks 11. Didn't quite work out that way, particularly when we came down to the grand finals last season. They had a really good start, 2nd place on day number 1, but kind of fell off a little bit in day number 2. I think a lot of their issues were down to their drop spot, so now they've changed that. They've gone to fencing fields, and at the moment, Levin, it's working really, really well. They're absolutely dominating Snazy and Podesai off spawn, and they're really showing us what they can do.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have just looked like a completely different team, really. I mean, you know, when they got together, everybody expected it to be fireworks. It didn't quite go the way they expected in that first major. And I mean, there's a lot of pressure on them to perform now, right? You look at the last 3 FNCS competitions for both of these guys, right? It's just not looked too amazing. You look at you know, last 3 majors or last 3 FNCS competitions for Tayson, 15th, 15th, 15th. Not Tayson level performances, you'd say. Venno, 15th, you know, didn't do as great as he wanted to at global championships, didn't qualify for Major 3 at the end of last year, right? So again, it's just not been the best. And for me, the fact that they've stuck together says a lot about how these two feel about themselves as a duo, right? There was lots of rumors of them splitting. Them sticking together says we are here to show we can be one of the best teams in the world.
Do you think, though, that we're going to see them play together again in Major 3 if it doesn't go their way this time in Major 2, Levin?
It's a very nuanced conversation to have. The thing I look at when I think about that is, who do they play with? It feels like both of them have exhausted a lot of the options they have. Maybe you see Venno maybe try, you know, play with Cammy or someone like that. But Tayson's played with almost everyone he could play with. Maybe he moves to NA or something. I don't know what he would do at that point, but we'll see. I think hopefully they'll stick together.
But 11? don't try and break up my Polish boys, Cami and Seti. Mini Minor, this is another duo we know has got to make it to Dallas somehow.
Yeah, definitely. And it hasn't been the best start to the year for them either. 33rd in the last grand finals. A lot of people expected a lot better things from this team. And it just comes down to a lack of game plan, a lack of sort of strategy when it comes to their gameplay. I know we talked about it a little bit, Levin, before, that it seems like that last season was a lot based around fighting when it comes to Storm Surge. This is not a team that you expect to be fighting or spawned for Storm Surge and trying to W key teams. You expect a little bit more consistency, a little more solidity in their strategy. And I think a lot of that comes down to the fact that we didn't have the bullet drop weapons previously before last season, right? So a lot of people had to fight for Surge. They weren't used to going for those longer range tags and trying to play things a little bit more carefully. I think now that everyone's a little bit more used to trying to take those long range tags, it might play in Cami and Seti's favor as there's less fighting going on the map.
Yeah, I think the combination of that with the fact that we had obviously like the grapplers before last season, right? You know, the fact that you couldn't really surge base as much and you had grapplers to sort of move around rapidly meant people were just fighting for surge. Cami and Seti, this season, I think the meta suits them a lot more. They'll be a lot better off for that.
So basically, if the two of them can actually stay alive in the end games 11, they might have a chance.
Yeah, for sure. And I think they will.
Yeah, no more trying to solo Kutch, boys. Let's head over to our casters, though. I do want to check in with Takata and Jacob PR to find out which players they're looking forward to seeing in the lobbies today.
Thank you so much, Frankie. Look, Jacob, we're back in business, and I got a lot of names on my mind, but I want to talk about the champions from Major 1, Malabuka and Merstash. Look, they were landing fencing fields in the last Major, but it seems that they like these popular drop spots, Jacob, because now they're at Grim Gate. They want that Cerebus medallion. They want those dashes, and they want to be on top.
Yeah, and the way they were able to do it last season was one of the most historic runs I think we've ever had. And it started in the upper bracket of things. That qualified Malabuka rebooting his teammate not once, not twice, but 3 different times just to make it that far. And I said it was a historic run, but it couldn't have been historic without Queasy and Thomas HD. They kept up the chase. They were in first place at one point or another, all the way from Lavish Layer. It was just impressive from all 4 of these individuals, and I don't think it's going to be anything different this season.
Look, we said Malabuka and Merstash were the champs because they were, but they were only 1 point ahead of Queasy and Thomas HD. Thomas HD with the history of the back-to-back-to-back second places. He cannot take home an FNCS, but will he be able to this season? That's the question, Jacob.
Yeah, it's just tough. The amount of second places he's had, it'll make a person go crazy. But we still got so much more to break down. I'm going to throw it back on over to Analyst to let us know more what we got in store.
Thank you, guys. To be honest, I'd be happy to talk Thomas HD all day. It's got to be his year, surely. And it's also got to be the season of the legendary Banana Mini Minor.
Is that what the season is? We're just calling it the legendary banana season. That's what we're going to remember it. But yeah, you're right. The banana of the gods, the new item that's in the game. You can find it across the map. You can find it in those epic chests as well that are at some of the new POIs. And this item, Levin, very, very, very exciting. It heals you over time. It gives you that initial boost of heal and actually heals you for 3 HP every single tick. And I believe that goes up 20-25 seconds. So you can actually heal all the way up to 100 HP. It reminds me a lot of the slurp juices from back in the day, of course, because it also gives you a little bit of a mobility boost as well. We should talk about that.
Yeah, no, it gives you the same mobility boost that you get from the aspect of speed, which actually makes it stronger than the old slurps, right? You didn't get that from the old slurps. You get some increased speed and jump height, and I think we're seeing it be used so prominently, just like those old slurps were used back in Chapter 4 in terms of plays like this, right? You can sort of camp back in the storm a bit, gives you a bit of extra time, and then you can sort of move into the right position, and you're still going to continue to heal up now once you are still back in the storm, and for that reason, right, we're seeing so many players use it for height takes, use it to just get a bit of extra placement, using it in heal loss, right? You combine sort of the bananas and then you're popping your med kits, right? It just keeps you alive, ticking in the zone just a bit longer than you would if you didn't have it. And it is very, very strong. It's one of the few sort of movement mobility items we have available. And for that reason alone, it's really strong in these end games.
Mini Miner, how many bananas can you actually find across the map? This is just a little bit of trivia I feel like you'll know the answer to.
For the entire map, I mean, there's no limit. You can carry 4, right, in your inventory. You're just throwing that at me. How many bananas are on the map, Mini Miner? You know, let's just ask you that on the broadcast. You know, let's just throw that out there. I don't know. I don't know exactly how many bananas.
Nobody knows.
Do you want to go and find out, Frankie? You want to go in game and try and count each one? You can do that if you want, but no, you can only carry 4.
Someone wants to tell us in chat.
Someone can tell us.
in
Nobody
chat.
knows, unfortunately. Nobody knows.
You get them. There's not like a set amount. You get them from like loot, right? So it's like there could be any given amount in a lobby. There does feel like there's some POIs that get them a bit often than others, right? But yeah, for the most part, it is just, you know, luck of the draw.
Yeah, I feel like I found quite a lot of legendary bananas in game. The thing is, I never actually stay undamaged long enough to actually gather 4 of them, but good to know you can carry 4. Let's talk also about mobility, because earlier on you guys were saying a bit of a low mobility meta. However, if you're dropping by Grim Gate Mini Miner, you might actually be in with the chance of actually picking up some speed.
Yeah, of course, you have the dash medallion. Everyone's talking about this. This is certainly the main selling point of the Grim Gate POI. We're seeing a lot of players finding so much success from this area, and that's the reason why you can see it on your screen right there, Levin. This is an item that, of course, you can get it in your inventory. It doesn't actually take up an inventory slot, but it actually recharges these dashes throughout the whole game. Of course, you can get these dashes through the green water, the River Styx as it's officially called, in that area, but the ability to have that medallion throughout the entire game, no matter where you are on the map, is so beneficial for the teams.
Yeah, I mean, part of what makes it so strong is that medallion is like the only one that you can actually share with a teammate, right? You know, the fact that you can sort of pick it up, get your free dashes, your teammate can pick it up and get free dashes as well. So powerful. And it's the reason why so many people fight for it, right? Everybody landing at Grimgate, they want to land on that top chest and try to control the POI. The big thing is, again, just having that consistent mobility, the freedom to make these sort of plays and those you can continue to make them. Kido here on our screens, right? He's able to just get ahead up into better positions much faster than everybody else. And on top of getting into better positions, one of the best positions you can be in an endgame is high ground. And some of the height plays we see people make with these, a team will be on height. They have no clue it's coming, right? They have absolutely no idea it's coming. And it is just so strong. It's the reason why we're seeing teams in the EU contest for it so strongly. It's the reason why on NA, we're seeing one team completely dominate the whole region, but I'll save that for Vivid and my other friends on that region to dissect that one. Here in EU though, Kido and Chin, one of the main teams we'll see there. Manabuka, Mustache, another team that we can expect to see there. I mean, it's just such a strong POI. Why wouldn't you fight for it? There will be other teams that get involved there as well. But one guarantee I can make for everybody is that this aspect of speed medallion will be prominent in every single endgame we watch today, because it is so powerful.
Yeah, it is so powerful. And what we're seeing a lot of teams use actually in combination with another sort of mobility item in the Flowberry Fizz, getting that Flowberry effect to actually go all the way up onto height and just catch the high ground team off guard. You mentioned it at 11. It's so difficult for the high ground team to actually understand and know, because there's not much audio. You don't get too much audio of people actually dashing up. So expect to see that. We're going to see a lot of end games today. And if you're watching for the first time, expect to see a lot of high ground takes when it comes to the teams that have that medallion, especially if they have the Flowberry activated as well.
Minnie, do you expect to see that medallion change hands quite a lot as we get into the final couple of zones?
I think we're going to see it in the same hands more often than not, but who knows, right? If a team gets eliminated, if a team goes down at sort of maybe 8th zone, that's going to be definitely a priority for the teams that do want to try and get that. If a team's a little bit further down, why not land on Grim Gate? Why not give yourself a good chance to win the game? Because it is just so powerful, not only for endgame, also for the mid-game rotations, the mid-game eliminations as well. When you're W-keying a team, it's so valuable across the course of the game. So any team that wants it, they need to fight for it. It's not going to be easy to get.